Four young travelers embark on a holiday of a lifetime aboard a jumbo jet that is transporting some lethal cargo, genetically modified spiders set for the US Army. But in true disaster movie style, the spiders break loose from their wooden box rapidly and without explanation begin to grow and multiply and cause havoc on a plane full of tourists. You know, I'm not really sure why I'm doing this to myself, but as an Australian, I'm supposed to love spiders because, you know, spiders here are the size of houses. They would make the modified spiders in this movie look tiny in comparison, but believe it or not, I actually really hate those creepy, crawly bastards. I watched this as a test of my mettle to see if I could survive a full-length spider film. It had been almost 2 decades since Eight-Legged Freaks that I had watched a spider movie. And between that movie and Snakes on a Plane, it's quite obvious where this Jagged Edge mockbuster gets its inspiration from. Yes. Roll your eyes and let out a huge, exasperated huff, because this is from the same production house that brought us the classics like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. And while this movie isn't as great, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it is better than those 2 films. And the reason why, you see, is because there is actually some fun to be had here. Once you look past all the obvious flaws, like the ridiculous cast of characters, the main character especially being a girl with daddy issues who just so happens to have a background flying planes. Now, you know, foreshadowing, that is going to be a very important part at the end of the movie, right? There's also the obvious decommissioned Dutch jumbo jet that is just sitting in a regional airport in the middle of nowhere that's masquerading as a Colombian-bound passenger jet. It's obviously way past its prime, but this jet, it's still batting well above its average. I like especially how the filmmakers have removed some of the seats from economy, and it looks so much more spacious than first class. And let's not get started about the size of some of the toilets in this plane. Then there's also the ridiculous spiders. I mean, the obvious rubber puppets to the barely animated CGI monsters that crawl all over the movie extras before they can kill or be killed. The monster spider actually looks pretty decent, and I'm unsure if it's CGI or a puppet. And I'm going to be really honest with you, I'm not going to lose any sleep if I don't know the answer to that question. But before I tell you what I liked about the film, and yes, there is something that I really liked about this film, I just need an explanation. Why is a small wooden box, and it is quite a small wooden box, why is that transporting these spiders? And why is it doing it without any compartments or anything inside the box to keep them separated? Also, once the spiders break loose, which you could see, again, it's foreshadowed by the way that they don't even bother to secure the cargo box in the cargo hold. But how do these spiders manage to grow so quick and multiply so rapidly in such a short amount of time? And again, like the previous question, I'm not going to lose any sleep if I don't know the answer. However, the movie does something incredibly right, believe it or not. It's at the 40-minute mark of the film that the movie remembers that it's a silly, jagged edge mockbuster, and it finally decides to ham itself up. It gets so incredibly goofy in this film that it becomes riveting viewing. And why riveting viewing? I mean that it finally becomes the stupid movie that it promises to be in the poster and in the trailer. Suspension of disbelief is then absolutely needed for the next part of the film, because it goes from one downright stupid scenario to the next. It's as if the filmmakers have no idea about what happened to all those United Airlines flights in the US back in the 90s. And then when you think the movie couldn't get any stupider, the final scene where one of the characters evolves into some kind of Spider-Man, that's just truly classic Jagged Edge cinema. This movie was never a piss take on Snakes on a Plane or Eight-Legged Freaks, but rather, I think it was a shocking ode to Marvel's web-slinging master. Using my patent pending ghost rating, which stands for Great Horror or Stupid Trash, I award this film 2 ghosts. Believe it or not, it is past 1 ghost territory. It moves into 2 ghosts because it is so ridiculously silly at that halfway point that the movie does become quite enjoyable. Now, it does lose its way again towards the end where it starts to take itself too seriously, but then it finally recorrects itself in that final scene where the dude is Spider-Man. There is literally nothing else I could tell you about this film, about why I enjoyed it so much, other than this stupid scene right at the end where he's acting like Spider-Man. And I wouldn't be surprised if this was Jagged Edge's plan all along. I'm the Artie Dans. You are watching Shockmania. Thank you so much for tuning in. You've probably seen the movie by now and you probably think it's a load of crap. And I don't blame you, to be honest. And if you don't see the kind of uniqueness that I saw, that's fine. But I'd be very keen to know in the comments below what you thought of it. Obviously you hated it. What they could have done better. But did you find the goofiness in the movie to be just a little bit charming? It's better than almost everything Jagged Edge just put out before. Anyway, like, subscribe, all that other jazz. Hopefully I'll get to catch you next time.